Welcome to the Weekly Wrap, your weekly update on the critical political issues relevant to Christians happening right now around our nation. First up, in one of Adelaide's largest annual rallies, an estimated 4,000 South Australians marched together for Love Adelaide's Walk for Life. ACL South Australian Director Ashlyn Weiss voiced her concerns at this event, citing the troubling statistic that 7 healthy late-term babies have been killed in utero since the legalisation of abortion to birth in 2021. She highlighted contradictions contained within the claims made by abortion advocates and asserted the pro-life community's determination to end this practice of modern-day barbarism towards precious young lives, children fully formed, yet defenceless and voiceless in their mother's womb. The ACL urges South Australians and political leaders to hear the facts, break the silence, and work together to end abortion to birth provisions and enact pro-life legislation. Also in Adelaide, the Malinowskis government's decision to kill off Frank Pengello's balanced and open-ended inquiry into the treatment of gender-confused children is a tragic setback for our kids' safety and well-being. It also casts a dark shadow over the South Australian government's commitment to fair, robust and transparent parliamentary processes. Rest assured, this issue isn't going away. Children's lives are at stake, with stories of harm too raw and real to ignore. One such story is that of Jay Langadinos, who, following advice from just one psychiatrist, underwent invasive gender reassignment surgery, losing her uterus, ovaries and breasts, and has lived with crippling regret ever since. Now, she is a bold, brave voice for change. Despite the South Australian Premier's best attempts to suppress it, the truth must eventually come out. In Victoria, the surge of ideologically driven school policies has shifted the focus from traditional education excellence to a concerning emphasis on subversive gender ideologies and the premature sexualisation of children. This departure from core teachings of numeracy and literacy has left parents and educators frustrated, seeking solutions. To counter this troubling trend, the ACL has launched an education campaign in Victoria to raise awareness and provide alternatives. I joined our State Director Jasmine Ewan for the launch and was encouraged to see so many of our volunteers joining the campaign. If you're in Victoria and share concerns about children's education, I encourage you to visit our campaign website and get involved. Continuing in Victoria, Sexual Health Victoria's plan to induce a telehealth medical abortion service focusing on women in regional areas is raising concerns about the health and well-being of vulnerable individuals. We see this initiative with its ill-thought-out plan of sending abortion medication in the post as grossly irresponsible. ACL urges the Allen government and Sexual Health Victoria to reconsider and recognise the dangers posed to young women's lives. Now to Queensland and the Miles Labor government's plans to introduce legislation to decriminalise prostitution. Despite its stated aim of reducing violence and exploitation in the sex industry, sanctioning prostitution always leads to more exploitation and human trafficking, and there is plenty of research that proves it. Instead, Queensland should follow moves in other nations that have seen reductions in human trafficking and exploitation by criminalising the purchase of sex and supporting women to exit prostitution. Scripture exhorts us to speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves, whether it is the unborn, the education of our children, or those trapped in the sex trade. We need to stand in the gap, to pray and say that it is not okay for our laws to run over kids' innocence. As elections draw closer around the country, I encourage you to stay informed, engage in advocacy, and be vocal in your support of local MPs who are standing for godly principles at the ballot box. Well, that's been the Weekly Wrap. Thanks for joining us, and I'll see you next week.